constant excuses for inaction no longer do, no longer suffice. That's why we're here today. Not to debate the last mass shooting, but to do something to try to prevent the next one.
President Obama earlier today at the White House calling for expanded background checks for gun buyers. Mr. Obama claims his proposal is a common sense approach that respects the Second Amendment while ensuring all gun buyers follow the same rules. But a whole lot of gun owners are calling this, what I believe it is, executive overreach and an interference with personal property. To talk about this more, let's welcome in first former Secret Service agent Dan Bongino. Dan is the author of the soon-to-be-released book, The Fight. And also joining us, Pastor Aubrey Shines. He is the founder of Glory to Glory Ministries. Gentlemen, you both have our thanks. And Dan, in addition to being a former Secret Service agent, you were a police officer. So I just have to ask you, from your perspective, is gun control really the answer?
Well, yeah, if you want to disarm law-abiding Americans and make them a flock of sheep for the wolves among us, the terrorists and the criminals want to prey on us, it's absolutely the answer then. But if you're interested in protecting yourself and your family in a dangerous world full of sinners, we're all fallible people, right? Then no, it's absolutely not the answer. And President Obama could not have been more disingenuous today. The fact that he lies and lies with such ease and fluidity on the topic of guns in that press conference today, J.D., was so disturbing that, I tried to sum it up in a social media post today, but it's difficult to express the level of disingenuous behavior coming out of this White House.
Pastor Shines, we read in Scripture we have to be as wise as serpents and as innocent as doves. And a whole lot of people take a look at what the president proposes. They're suspicious that this could be a move to eventually try to take away the Second Amendment and take away personal ownership of guns. Do you believe that's the motive?
Oh, absolutely. I think, unfortunately, it goes a little further than that. I think Dan really echoed it as well. Think about it this way. All of these various reporting systems are tied together. If you have a son or daughter, for instance, he or she may have, had medication for a learning disability. People don't realize that this executive order is an overreach. That means that you go to purchase a gun under this particular order, you won't be able to do so because that individual in your home, he or she may pose a threat. Forget about all the domestic violence that's going on. What we need to do is be honest. We need to allow the police to do their jobs. And this president is a failed president. And you know what? In a nutshell, he's looking for a legacy because he doesn't have one. He has been a complete failure in everything that he has done. And kudos to those men and women that serve us here in our nation, great officers that really do get this. Boy, I can't wait to 2016 to get rid of this feckless president.
Well, you mentioned, Pastor Shines, that this is an executive action. There are all sorts of concerns about the constitutionality. But Dan, we also heard Aubrey just mention the situation involving a loved one who may have been on medication being barred from ever having a firearm. We understand that this executive action would allow doctors to report patients to the FBI prospectively, not even with an offense. Does this cut to the core of civil liberties and just your right to even keep and bear arms?
JD, let me give you two more huge red flags on what this thing does. The president says about background checks, he's just lying to your face. I watched him cry. I cry watching our country being flushed down the toilet bowl by a president who has zero respect for the Constitution. He uses it like a Kleenex. Here's two things that it did that I don't think the public are aware of. Forget the background checks. He's just telling you that because it polls well in one of his focus groups. It expands the discretion of the ATF. Now, JD, as you well know, why does the government, especially far leftists and some of the moderate rhinos in there, why do they love discretion? Because they like subjective government not held back by any objective rules. They like to rewrite the rules subjectively. It gives the ATF discretion to determine who's a seller. If you happen to sell a gun to some family member just because you need to get it off your farm or something, and the ATF determines the, quote, facts and circumstances make you a seller, you could be locked up. They can also inspect your premises. You know that? And here's one other thing. If you're a Social Security recipient that has someone handling your financial matters, You know you may be banned from purchasing a firearm? I bet you didn't know that. That's your benevolent president and his so-called background checks. He's full of it, and he knows it.
And gentlemen, regrettably, we will have to end it there, but we appreciate your warnings about what exactly is going on with this executive action. Dan Bongino, author of the soon-to-be-released book, The Fight, and Pastor Aubrey Shines of Glory to Glory Ministries. Gentlemen, we thank you very much for your time. You heard what they had to say. Agree or disagree? You can send me your comments at newsmaxtv.com/comments. Coming up, another wild ride on Wall Street. Peter Schiff joins us to talk about it next.